Captain America Brave New World is out in theaters. This is film number 35 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and film number 4 in the Captain America series, although it should be treated as kind of a soft reboot with Sam Wilson taking over the mantle of the superhero, as well as the fact that the movie is really a sequel to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the TV show on Disney+, and The Incredible Hulk, believe it or not, much more so than the previous Captain America films. This was directed by Julius Onah, who previously made The Cloverfield Paradox, which was absolutely atrocious. And this stars Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, who is taking over the role of Thaddeus Ross from William Hurt, who sadly passed away, Danny Ramirez, Shira Haas, Carl Lumbly, Tim Blake Nelson, and Giancarlo Esposito. It had a troubled production. The original version was hated by the test audiences, so the script was apparently rewritten, and a large part of the movie was reshot. In the process, they even changed the title. It was originally supposed to be called New World Order. It was changed to Brave New World. Then they completely removed the character of Rosa Salazar in the film from the film, even though she already shot her entire role, and she was playing one of the main villains apparently. And they added Giancarlo Esposito instead, and his role in the final product is quite substantial. And then it tested badly again, and it was re-edited again. And now we end up with a final product that is messy, lifeless, and boring. The story starts with Ross, who has now become president of the United States, working on an international treaty that is meant to establish rules and to govern the exploration and the use of Celestial Island, the giant celestial head sticking out of the Indian Ocean after the events of Eternals. The Celestial contains adamantium, which is very lucrative and desirable. The talks are interrupted by an assassination attempt by a couple of apparently brainwashed soldiers, including Isaiah Bradley, which sends Captain America, the new Captain America, and the new Falcon on a mission to find out who's behind the plot and what other threats are approaching. So, as I said, it's not good. Which is sad because it definitely feels like a problem with the execution and not necessarily the setup. The core ideas of the film are fairly interesting in my opinion. I mean, I like the inclusion of the Celestial and using it to introduce adamantium into the MCU. I think it's a very good step towards making the MCU feel interconnected again. It feels like for the past couple of years the shows and the movies largely existed in their own little microcosms. I like the idea of facing an enemy or enemies who are not threatening to the entire world, but it's smaller stakes, perfect for the new captain. I like the tension between Ross and Wilson, the sort of conflict between Ross wanting Wilson to rebuild the Avengers, Wilson not wanting to do it under this particular president. I wish that was played up more. I like the mentor-friend relationship between Wilson and Torres. I even like the idea of Wilson having to fight effectively a bunch of Winter Soldiers in terms of being brainwashed. I thought that was an interesting way to thematically tie that to his past. But again, that was underplayed. But the way it's all brought to life is just hollow. It's corporate, safe, and devoid of any true heart or passion. It's a movie that feels like filler. Like it was made because of a set schedule, because someone decided it should be made, not because anyone truly wanted to make it. So let me get through the specific problems. It is very apparent that the film underwent these significant reshoots and script changes because there are times when the plot is very shaky. And even just visually, a lot of the scenes look like the actors are not in the same room at the same time. And most of the cinematography really is remarkably uninspired. Just dull grey shots of people standing around in dull grey rooms. Or visible CGI, like in the Red Hulk fight scene in the end. And especially during Sam's speech there, the green screen is just egregiously visible. So it's boring to look at, it's boring to listen to because the score is extremely generic. The dialogue is weak, with multiple scenes of just shameless exposition explaining who the characters are and what they've done previously, which, by the way, has been kind of annoying to me in the past couple of years. On the one hand, people complain that you have to keep up with all the MCU projects or you'll become lost. But on the other hand, it seems like every movie and show still insists on bringing you up to speed in these very clunky ways, just explaining things that should not be explained at this point in time. I think that the leader is a very generic type of villain, a mastermind from the shadows, super intelligent, and he ends up doing nothing surprising in the film. What he does do instead is teleport around the country to be where the script needs him to be, without any sort of explanation, like showing up at a military exercise to shoot a guy in order to prevent him from relaying information to Sam, only to then immediately teleport to Sam and give him that exact set of information. What is this shit? I think Giancarlo Esposito is completely wasted, and he plays the same character he always does, only now he has a machine gun. I think Ruth is almost a joke character for two reasons. One, she's supposed to be a security agent, the security agent for the President of the United States, and she's a former Black Widow, and she's being played by Shira Haas, who, and I checked this, is 157 centimeters tall. Next to the other actors, she looks like a child, yet in action scenes she's able to comfortably throw around men twice her size. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. But secondly, she is totally obsolete as a character. You can remove her from the movie and nothing changes. I mean that literally. Not that you would need to rewrite some of the dialogue or give her scenes to someone else. No, literally, take her out of the film, not one thing is different. It's mind-boggling. I would also say that the political intrigue plot plays out like it was written by teenagers. None of the world leaders portrayed here act and talk and behave like adult people would, or especially people in their positions. So it's hard to take the movie seriously and get invested in it. I'd say it also continues to have the Marvel problem of everyone being a superhero now and walking away from any fight, scratch, wound, fall without a problem. I never felt any of the characters were in any real danger, and that really removes a lot of the tension. Also, I was defending The Falcon and the Winter Soldier a couple years back for its ending, where Sam fixes the world by having a silly inspirational speech to a bunch of politicians and magically convincing them to do better. I thought it was fine there, but he does that again to a Hulk in this movie successfully. And this time I'm out. You can get away with that once, but not twice. I'm sorry. Now, listen, there are some elements I liked, I'll be fair. I liked the quietly lingering sense that Sam is still struggling with feelings of inadequacy in the new role, and I wish that was played up much more. I liked as I said, I liked the tension between him and the President, especially around the Avengers angle. I wish that was played up more. I liked Harrison Ford as Ross in general. I think he does a great job of humanizing the character. He's definitely not phoning it in. I liked how in some action scenes Sam is cleverly using the shield, wings, his drones, and even the environment around him to get an edge. I also liked the final action sequence, the fight against the Hulk. It was very cool, even if it was too short, and it was a great reminder of how dangerous this particular type of enemy can be. However, and this is kind of the final problem of the movie, I wish we never knew that the Red Hulk was coming, but they plastered every poster and every trailer with it, and as a result there was absolutely no mystery, no tension, no surprise in the film. All the time I was thinking, okay, they're teasing it, but it's not gonna happen yet because I saw the trailer, I know where the final fight is gonna be, which, you know, I think is a confirmation of my theory from earlier, that the filmmakers didn't really give a shit. They made a movie that is very corporate, safe, unadventurous in any sense of the word. It's bland and lacks character. It's like white rice without any sauce or veggies or meat. And then they even spoiled the entire film in the trailers. There is nothing in here that I didn't know was coming. There's nothing that I didn't expect. Nothing that made me go, wow, they executed that very, very well. Nothing amazing. So while I don't think it's a movie that is completely top to bottom terrible, like Ant-Man Quantumania, for instance, I do think that it's so lifelessly boring that it's almost worse in a way, because it's not that it attempts to do something and fails. It feels like it's attempting to do nothing. I was forgetting elements of the plot by the time I reached home after the theater showing, and I honestly think that's one of the worst sins a movie can make, to be boring.